Hey everyone, this is wolfwire Studios and it's tutorial time. So if you guys have seen my last video, I was talking about creating a full-fledged tutorial for the Insurgency Sandstorm reload system, right? So I wanted to make some preparations. Initially, I was thinking of merging this tutorial and the devlog into one single video, but that would have been 20-25 minutes long, and I don't want that. So I created a separate video, which is this one. And I also have some stuff ready for, helping me to explain you the logic behind the reload system that I'm using to replicate the one that is being used in Insurgency. Okay, so let me just quickly explain it to you what exactly the reload system is. So Insurgency uses this type of a reload system where you can see the amount of magazines you have and the amount of bullets those magazines have by using this sort of a graph like the bar, okay, progress bar. As you can see, this tells us that we have approximately 50% of the bullets in our magazine. That would be around 15 to 17, 15 to 16 bullets, yeah, maybe 14. So that depends upon the magazine. So what I'm trying to achieve here is the exact same that system that Insurgency uses. So look at this picture, this one, okay? We have the active magazine that has around 50%, and we have another magazine that is full, and another magazine that is around 75%, okay? So what happens is in Insurgency when you reload, and these are from the same frame, as you can see, they are very similar. So what happens in Insurgency is I press R to reload and it will check whichever magazine has the highest amount of bullets will be made the active magazine, and then all of them will be sorted out like that. As you can see, they just moved. Basically what Insurgency is using, what I believe, is they are using an array, okay, and they are basically shifting these elements of the array in the stack in some form, okay. They are just incrementing and decrementing their priority according to the number of bullets they have in their own magazine set, okay. I hope this is not confusing. Basically it's just a simple check to see whichever magazine has the highest bullets will be the active one, and so on and so forth, okay. But it's not as simple as it seems, okay. There was a lot of math behind it. Like I really had to figure out a lot of stuff. So this is one illustration replicating this example. As you can see, in this case, magazine 2 is the one that has most of the bullets. Magazine 3 is the one that was active, as you can see. And basically this math at this instance was checking that, okay, whichever mag has the highest bullet. So this instance was comparing magazine 2 with magazine 3, magazine 2 with magazine 3. Okay, magazine 2 is greater. And it was also checking magazine 2 with magazine 1, which was again greater because magazine 2 is full. So it created magazine 2 as the active magazine, as you can see, with full 30 bullets. I did it with struct and enum, but you can do it with arrays as well if you feel like that, okay. And this is the mathematics behind the logic. So let's assume we have all of the magazines at full 30, okay. This, let's assume that, and after firing and reloading, from since magazine 1 is the default magazine, the one that is active, you're firing from that, right? Suppose you fired, let's say, 2 bullets, you have 28. Now you're pressing R to reload. It will check that magazine 2 and magazine 3 are active, and whichever is having the highest number. Since magazine 2 is encountered first, we will set magazine 2 as active. And after a while, you shot some bullets from it, and now magazine 2 is at 25. Again, you press R to reload and it will check. Okay, magazine 2 is 25, the active one. Okay, we will check magazine 1, which is 28. And then we'll check magazine 3. Oh, it's 30. So magazine 3 becomes the active one. Okay, they both are left the way they are. And then after a moment, after a few moments, you just fire some bullets from magazine 3. Now your magazine is at 15, magazine 3. Now you press R again and it will check. Okay, magazine 3 is at 15. Let's see magazine 2. Okay, it's 25. Let's see magazine 1. Okay, it's 28. So we set magazine 1 as the active magazine because it has the highest number of bullets, and so on and so forth. Again, then you fire 8 bullets. So now you have magazine 1 was active, and then you pressed R to reload. When you press R to reload, it will check that, okay, active magazine has 20 bullets, magazine 2 has 25, and magazine 3 has 15. It will compare and it will see that magazine 2 has the higher bullets. So it will set magazine 2 as the active one. And this is the math behind it. I hope this is not as confusing as I was trying to eliminate the confusion. I don't know what I'm speaking right now, Cut. Yeah. So I hope, guys, this is not as confusing as I made it here. I mean, it's very simple. Okay, I'm using a three magazine system. So I have to just compare three values. You can do with magazine 4 and magazine 5 if you want. Insurgency is using 4 magazines, I guess. Sorry, 5. Yeah, 5 magazines. I'm doing it with 3. Why? Because the way I'm going to set up my game, I guess 3 magazines will be enough. And if you need more, you can of course ask the other companion players, basically the AI NPC players. You can ask them. And other than that, there will be an ammunition box that you can use to obtain bullets. So it's not a problem in my game. But yeah, for the sake of simplicity, I'll be just using 3 magazines in my project. And let's counter the last case. Suppose you have 10 bullets in your magazine 1, 10 more in your magazine 2, and then 11 in your magazine 3. When you press reload, it will check that, okay, magazine 11, magazine 3 has 11 bullets. So we will set this one as the active one. There can be a case where all of these 3 magazines have the same amount of bullets, so there is no reload necessary. I have also covered that. And there will also be a case where it's not necessary that magazine 3 will be the highest among two. It can be 2 or it can be 1, as I showed you guys in the above case. So I have made a verification check for that as well. And I have also created a check to play or not to play the animations if and when we are reloading. So let's just quickly go to Unreal Engine. And this is the basic reloading setup. I have explained the surface of this in my devlog. So you can check it out. I'll try to link it at the end or maybe put a card or annotation or something. So this is a simple reload action. You can go here. You can go to edit, project settings. You can go to input, the usual stuff, and you can create a binding. I created R for reload. So input action reload is my binding one. Then you have to create a bool. I hope you know how to create a bool. Just click on plus variable and then a boolean will, and then select the variable type as boolean and name it. I named it is reloading. So what we are doing is we are checking that are we reloading. If we are not, then we will check for sprinting and ADS. This is my custom code. You may have this in your game. I mean, if you're making a first person game, you should have this, or you may not have this. I don't know. But this is my custom code. I'm just checking that are we doing ADS? If we are, then we want to disable it. And if we are not in ADS, then we will check for sprinting. If we are sprinting, then we disable sprinting. And if we are not, then we move forward to this event toggle reloading. This is, as you can see, a custom event. How to create a custom event? Just right click anywhere in the blueprint and write custom event, and you will have this custom event. Just click on it and name it whatever you want. Okay. I named it event toggle reloading. So for this purpose of this insurgency reload system, I created a variable named current active magazine. It is an integer. Again, you have to just click on new variable and select the data type as integer, which I've already done. So I won't be doing it again. Yeah. So, okay, what's happening? Yeah, somehow Unreal was acting weird. Never mind. So I have created an integer by the name of current active magazine. Okay. This is my weapon info struct. So since it's not a devlog and there is a chance that you are a new person to this channel and you're just seeing this video for the first time, you have no idea what I did, why I did. So I'll open everything that I have here, especially for the new viewers, if there are any at this point. And yeah, that's it. Last one. That's the last one. So this is the struct, as you can see, conveniently named s underscore weapon info. It is a struct. And if you don't know what a struct is, it is a collection of data types. Okay. It is a data type that can contain multiple data types in its own domain. Okay. So right now this struct has what? Seven variables. 3 are integer, 2 are anim montage, 1 is a boolean, 1 is a fire rate, a float, sorry. I can use this struct and create a web variable in my weapon base. This is my event graph in my weapon base. As you can see, it is an actor, and I created a variable here, s underscore weapon info, and I named it weapon info. Similarly, I made another struct that has 3 integers and 1 enum. Integers are magazine 1, 2, and 3. Of course, if you want to, edit the code anytime, the way I'm making, let's say you want to add 4 or 5 magazines, you can increase the variable count here, and then you can update the code accordingly. The math will remain the same, okay? You just have to add more steps to do the same. And at that point, it will be wise to use macros or maybe make even more custom functions, okay? So this is the magazine set, struct s underscore magazine set, and I am creating a variable here, as you can see, magazine set, s underscore magazine set, s underscore weapon info. We're just creating variables, and these variables will have some values in it, right? Because it's a struct and it has multiple variables inside it. This appears here in the default value. Same is for the weapon info. But since it's a weapon based class, okay, it has nothing. But this weapon, the M4, this is the weapon in my game that derives from that weapon base class. As you can see, parent class is the BP weapon base. By making the variable in BP weapon base, I don't have to recreate the variable here. That is the good thing. That is why we use inheritance in C++. As you can see, this is the magazine set. This is the weapon info. I don't even have to create them. They're automatically created. I can just fill them and use those values. So let's just see what I was doing here in weapon info. I set the maximum ammo is 90. Current ammo is 30. So that gives us 4 magazines. I should rather set it to 60 because I'm just using 3 magazines in total. 60 plus 30 is 90. So we have 3 magazines. Number of magazines is 4, which I should set to 3. Okay. As you can see, I can dynamically update these variables. I don't have montages right now. I will create them in the future, and it is automatic. Yes. And I can set the fire rate here. And other than that, I made this enum. Enum is just a field. It's an attribute that contains multiple fields in it. Okay. Like, as you can see, enumerators, they are called enumerators, and this is itself an enum, enumeration. And enumerators are magazine 1, 2, and 3. Right now, they're just simple text, okay? Nothing else. They're just simple text that are describing something that are individual identities, okay? So let's just quickly go to my player blueprint. And just to give you guys a roundup, I'll try to have timestamps in the description. For those who already have seen all of my devlogs and are aware of why and what is happening, I'll have timestamps for those people. And if you are new, you can just try to, capture what I'm trying to tell you. So what I'm doing in my game, I'm attaching the primary weapon at Beginplay. The usual stuff, you take your actor, you spawn it and attach it. You save it as a variable, disable the collision for safety, and then you attach it to your character. And after that, since we have saved it to a variable, as you can see, weapon primary, I'm using that variable to get that struct by the name of weapon info. As you can see, it's the correct one. And I can use the current ammo to set that integer current active magazine. We are just using it to get the value. We can for sure write here 30 if we want, but that is relative because what if you're using a DMR or what if you're using an LMG? You want this to be a modular variable, okay, so that you can dynamically change it. Because this weapon primary, this is just a slot, okay, and this slot can have any weapon. Right now it is an M4 rifle. It can be any weapon. So that's why you need to do this to make your code a little bit more modular than it can be. Okay, so that's all for attaching. Now let's quickly move on to firing. Okay, this is my firing code again. Same way, you just create an input action. Okay, input action fire, and then we are checking this current active magazine. We are checking that is this variable greater than 0 because we can only fire if we have bullets in our magazine, right? Simple as that. And then we are setting this variable. This variable is essentially for, well, you can say any purpose, to be honest. This variable is used in the shooting logic, but it can also be used anywhere else. You can replicate it and you can use it anywhere else if you want. Okay. And then we are running a switch. This is irrelevant to the tutorial, so I'll just quickly move on to the firing function. Again, I'm just checking using that current active magazine. Basically, this variable is inside the player, right? We don't have those struct variables here in the player. They are in the weapon, but they are not in the player. Okay. So we created this variable as a local variable to the player. Not exactly the local variable by definition, but the local variable to the player that is native to the player. Okay. We are checking in the firing function that is current active magazine greater than 0. If it is, then we are performing the shooting logic, which is again irrelevant to the tutorial. But we are reducing that magazine one by one. As you can see, current active magazine minus 1 is equal to current active magazine. Okay. But after that, we are using the second struct from the weapon primary. As you can see, magazine set 1, 2, and 3, magazine set number. And this is our struct, as you can see, of the variable magazine set, s underscore magazine sets. Okay. So we are running a switch on enum and we are checking that, okay, supposedly if this variable is giving us this value, basically it's a switch. Okay. It will tell you the active value. So if magazine 1 is active, then we would like to update the value of this struct using the current active magazine. Basically, what is happening here, at every instance, whenever you fire, you are reducing the ammo from this struct as well. Remember, this struct by default, where is it? Yeah, has 30, 30, and 30 in them, right? 30 each. So by default, they have 30, but when you are actually shooting, you're reducing the value, okay? Reducing it in the struct itself, which is very important, okay? And we are doing the same in the other two sets as well. As you can see, magazine 2 and magazine 3. Basically, you are updating the magazine 1 here, and magazine 2 and magazine 3 are left as it is. And so is the enum, because why not? Like, you don't want to update anything else when you are firing from a particular magazine. Okay. In this case, it is magazine 1, magazine 2 in this case, and magazine 3 in this case. Okay. Simple as that. Now, you may be thinking, okay, it is well and good, but how is this variable being set? This active magazine set number or whatever. Well, here in the weapon itself, the default is 1. I can change it to 2 or 3 or whatever I want, because like 1 makes more sense. So I'm using magazine 1 as default. Okay. And that's it. So whenever you attach the weapon, magazine 1 is the default one in the weapon, and we are using that. Okay. As you can see. But let's go down to the reload function. So if you guys remember, this was the custom event that I made. We are checking that current active magazine is greater than the current ammo. In this case, it is 30. So we are checking that is it less than 30? Only then we want to reload, right? If it is, then we run this function, reload logic. It is very important. I'll get into it in a moment. And this function, why is it very important? Because it is doing all the math and it is receiving an input and giving us an output. Okay. The input is that enum, as you can see here. Yeah, active mag number, magazine set number. As you can see, magazine set number. It is using the same struct, the magazine set struct. Okay. And giving us the magazine set number as 1, 2, or 3 or whatever to this function. It is feeding it to this function. And in this function, that variable is named active mag number. Okay. And this function is giving us an output of play animation, a Boolean. And if it is true, then okay, we want to set this variable as true. This variable is used in my anim blueprint to play the animation. And we are playing the montage. We are giving it a delay, and then we are setting it back to false. Okay. Let's just quickly see what this function is doing. So it's a big function, I know. I'll try to put this code in the Unreal Engine forum, okay, the direct blueprint stuff, just this code, okay, only this code. But yeah, so let's just begin. We are getting the weapon and we are getting that struct, okay. Remember this case and remember this case as well, the last 4, these cases, okay, remember these. So what we are doing is we are checking that, okay, is magazine 1 and magazine 2 same? Is magazine 1 and magazine 2 same. Okay, 10 and 10 in this case, and yeah, they are same. Okay, if they are same, then we want to check, is magazine 2 and magazine 3 same? Magazine 2 and magazine 3. In this case, they are not. If we take this example, let me just change the colors. Yeah. If we take this example, the blue one, magazine 1 and 2 are equal, but magazine 2 and 3 are not equal. Okay. So we'll go to false from this point. And we will check, are magazine 1 and 3 equal? Are magazine 1 and 3 equal? No, as you can see. So false, and it will move on to the actual code. Let me just, as you can see, rename these safety checks. So let me just explain why I have named them the safety checks. Suppose that magazine 1 has 10, magazine 2 also has 10, and magazine 3 also has 10, or 11 maybe. Okay, this case 11. So what will happen here? Magazine 1 and 2 are same. Okay, true. Magazine 2 and 3 are same. True. If 1 and 2 are same and 2 and 3 are same, that means 1 and 3 is same. So we don't have to do anything else. We'll just return, exit the function, and we will say don't play the animation. Why? Because we cannot reload right now. We don't have to reload because we have all of the magazines at the same level. So we don't have to play the animation. We'll just simply exit the function and no reload will be done. Right? Cool. Simple. But let's just assume that magazine 1 and 2 are same. And what if they were not? Okay, what if they were not? Then we will be checking that magazine 1 and 3 are same or not. Again, it is a safety check. That's why there are 3 checks. If there were 4 or 5 magazines, there will be 4 or 5 checks. So that depends upon the amount of magazines you are adding in your own game. Okay, but I will recommend follow along the tutorial, try to understand it, and maybe recreate it. Pause the video and just recreate it. And if there is any question, just comment it down. Okay, comment it and I'll reply. So magazine 1 and 2 are not same. Okay, magazine 1 and 3, this one, magazine 1 and 3, are they same? Why are we checking this? Because there is a chance that magazine 1 and 2 are not same, but 1 and 3 are same. Okay, in that case, because of this logic, we know that magazine 2 will already be the active one. So we don't have to run this check again and again and again. Okay, let's just take the normal case. Let's just pick this value 20, 25, 15. Okay, I'll explain every value. It's a long tutorial, so just sit back and relax. So I'll just write it here. Okay, let's say mag1 is 20, mag2 was 25 and 15. So 25 and mag3 is 50. Let's just take this example. I'll edit the values here so that I can explain it to you guys easily. So let us see. Magazine 1 is 20, magazine 2 is 25. Okay, 1 and 2 are not equal. Okay, we will check. Are magazines 1 and 3 equal? 1 is 20 and 3 is 15. No, they are not equal. Okay, then we will move on to check number 1. This check number 1. It will check magazine 1 is smaller than magazine 2. Come here. Okay. Magazine 1 smaller than magazine 2, which is the case. It is true. Very good. That is nice. So this condition is checking with respect to magazine 1, that is it smaller. If it is, then we want to check, is magazine 2 smaller than magazine 3? Magazine 2 is 25, magazine 3 is 15. As you can see, no, it is not smaller. That means we want to set magazine 2 as active one. Okay, this is the core logic that is setting everything. So it will check the active mag number, which is this variable active mag number. Of course, you can use it directly and just drag it here. Drag it here. You can easily do that, but you should know that in a function you can use the input variable independently here as well. So I'm checking that this active mag number is magazine 2 or not. If it is, then we want to return, and we don't want to play the animation. Why? Because it is already active, just like I told you guys. That's why we are doing that safety check to see is it active or not. And since magazine 2 is the active one, so we don't have to play the animation. We don't have to even reload and move on. Okay, but If it is not active somehow, let us guess. In our example, suppose magazine 2 was active. Oh, sorry, magazine 1 was active. Okay, I'll write it here in our example. Active. Okay, suppose magazine 1 was active. So it will check and it will see, okay, magazine 1 is active. It is not, the answer is not magazine 2. This will be false. So what we will do is we will set the value of magazine 2 to the current active magazine. We are overwriting this variable and we are copy pasting magazine 1 and magazine 3 and of course magazine 2 as it is in the variable. Basically, we are updating it and we are setting it here as well. This is important because setting this will help us in creating in eliminating any confusion and in creating a smooth workflow for the shooting logic. This variable, if you remember, this shooting logic, because this is necessary, right? We are switching dynamically while we are shooting. And let's just, and it will move on. This is a debug, so ignore it, and it will return with the play animation boolean set to true, because yes, we want to play animation. Let's just quickly wrap it up and take another value. Let me just switch it. Okay, let us see and make it 28. Okay, let's see what if magazine 1 is active and we have magazine 2 at 25 and 3 at 28 and magazine 1 was at 20. It is still active. Okay, we will check again. Okay, none of them are equal. We will check, is magazine 1 20 is less than 25 magazine 2? Yes, it is. Okay, we will check, is magazine 2 less than magazine 3? 25 is less than 28. Yeah, it is. That means magazine 3 is the highest one. Okay, you're comparing 1 and 2 and you find that 2 is greater than 1, and then you're comparing 2 and 3 and you again find that 3 is greater than 2. That means 3 is the largest number, right, in A, B and C, in magazine 1, 2 and 3. So we are setting magazine 3 as active. Again, it's the same code. It is just setting the enum as mag3, and if it is already set, then we don't want to play the animation. If it is not, then we are just updating our current active magazine. Remember, this variable is inside the player, and we are we are updating it using the struct, and we are also updating the struct itself, and we are reinforcing this enum, and then again we are just exiting the function. Let's just take another case, a simple one. Let's say this is the case. Magazine 1 was at 20 active, magazine 2 is at 15, and magazine 3 was at 28. Like, suppose you were using magazine 2 and now you have somehow switched it to magazine 1, and then you have 20 bullets left in magazine 1. Okay, let's just take that arbitrary example. So we will check, is magazine 1 less than magazine 2? False. Then we will check, is magazine 1, the active one, is less than magazine 3? 20 less than 28? Yeah, it is true. So that means that magazine 2 is the smallest one and magazine 3 again is the largest one. So we will go up here, as you can see, and set magazine 3 as active. Simple. And the same goes on for magazine 2. As you can see here, just one case where you're setting magazine 2 and as active. And let's just take the last example. Supposedly that magazine 1, let's just say magazine 1 had just 29, and then you fired around let's say 20 are remaining here, and let's say 15 are remaining here. Let's just take an arbitrary example because this can happen using this system. So magazine 1 is less than magazine 2? False. Magazine 1 is less than magazine 3? False. That means magazine 1 is the highest one and it should be active. So we are using that here. We are doing the same check again. We are setting magazine 1 as active, as you can see. Remember to carefully put the correct value in this current active magazine variable. Okay, as you can see here, it is magazine 2, magazine 1, magazine 3 and magazine 1, and also reinforcing the struct again and returning while playing the animation. So yeah, that's all, guys. That is the whole reload system of Insurgency. This is a debug system that I have made. It's totally irrelevant to the tutorial, but you can see it's just print string. I'm literally printing everything using append. That is all I've done. So let's just quickly see how it looks. Okay, guys, so this is me recording from the post editing part of this video, and I just realized that you can even use min and maximum of an array. Okay, You're really welcome to use that. I decided to go with a simple struct and use simple integers to do the maths properly. But yes, you're welcome to use the min and max of array. Matthew Watstein has a video about the same, explaining how they work for an array, integer and float, and otherwise. I could have used it only if I was going to use more than 3 magazines. But in my case, honestly, using just 3 magazines and creating this logic was more relaxing and more, promising, I should say. Or basically, it made me feel good that I was able to do this on my own. Okay, even I'm a dev, but I'm still learning, right? So that's why I went with that. But yeah, you're welcome to use your own methods of improvising this search. But if you have more than 3 magazines, I will recommend to use array and create a min and maximum of that array. Okay. Now on to the video. And this is the photo, as you can see. So yeah, that's it. Now continue with the video. So here we are in the game. And this debug system is run using E key. So if I go here so that it is more visible, and if I press E, as you can see, mag 330, mag 230, mag 130, current active magazine 1, and current ammo is 30. And it is also showing you the active one. So what if I fire here? As you can see, I have 18 bullets remaining. So as you can see, 30, 30, and 18. Mag 1 is active, mag 1 has 18. So now I'll reload and it will switch to magazine 2. Active magazine is magazine 2. And if I press E again to debug, magazine 2 is active, it has 30 bullets. Okay. Now, if I fire just, let's say, 2 bullets, 3 bullets, I press E again. As you can see, magazine 2 is active with 27 bullets. And magazine 1 has 18 and magazine 3 has 30. So now if I reload, it should go back to magazine 3. Magazine 3 is active, as you can see. And I press E, we have 30 bullets and magazine 3 is active. So that covers up the insurgency reload logic, guys. I'll do it again. Yeah, this is better. Okay. So let me just fire some bullets from magazine 3. Now if I press E, as you can see, magazine 3 has 13, 2 has 27, and 1 has 18. Now if I press R, it should go to magazine 2. Active magazine is magazine 2. And I press A again, and magazine 2 is active with 27 bullets. Now let me just fire more. Yeah. So as you can see, magazine 2 has 17, magazine 1 has 18, and magazine 3 has 13. So if I press R again, it should go to magazine 1. Current active mag is magazine 1, and we have 17 bullets. And now I fire. Let's just say I empty it. So as you can see, now we have just 0 in current active magazine, magazine 1, and now we have 13 and 17. So we'll reload and we'll go to magazine 2. And let me just switch it to single fire. Now, in this case, we have both of the magazines, 2 and 3, at 13, right? So if I press R, nothing should happen. As you can see, I'm pressing R and nothing is happening. And I press the debug button and yeah, it's 13. But if I fire just one single bullet, so now we are at 13 and 12, and now it will reload and go back to magazine 3. Simple. And now again, I'll fire some bullets. Magazine 3 has 7, magazine 2 has 12. I will reload and we'll go to magazine 2. And we have active one as magazine 2 with 12 bullets. So yeah, that's all, guys. That's all. That's the tutorial. I hope the math is clear to you guys. If there is any question, any query, do let me know in the comment section. You can hit me up on any social media. I mainly use Twitter with this ID, and this is the reload logic. I'll try to create a forum post in Unreal Engine community forum, because it can be helpful to someone who is trying to replicate the same 3 magazine system as seen in Insurgency. I know they use 5 magazines. You can use an array. There is no issue. You can create an integer array, like something like this. Create a variable. I'll name it int array, and you can go here, set it to integer, set the variable as array. But I have read in a lot of places that sometimes map is also good. If I compile it here, as you can see, map will have two variable values. Basically, one is, and you can change the type of map you want. Like basically, you can have a string and an integer one. So you can write something here in this element. Let's say you can write something here and you can give the value 100. Map can also be useful. You can just write magazine 1 here and, like mag 1, and you can give the value as 30. You can do that too. if you want. It is very efficient. You don't have to create a struct variable, but I went with struct because I was comfortable in using struct. That is all. There is nothing else here. I was comfortable with struct, so I went with a struct, and I used an enum to just rectify the problems here. Okay. So that's all, guys. That's it. I hope you like the tutorial. Do give it a like and share it with someone who is looking forward to make the same tutorial. Sorry, the same logic of Insurgency Sandstorm. I had this idea in my mind to create the same reload system for my game, and I spent the whole day of yesterday to create this logic, and here I am with this tutorial. I hope it really helps someone. If it does, then just like the video and do let me know in the comments that it was helpful. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you in the next one.